Good Saturday morning, everybody. I see a little bit of a sunrise out there. It's looking great. I hope everybody has a great day. And I know we're going to be busy today. It's going to be a pretty day. Thank goodness we didn't get the snowstorm they said we were going to get. It went north of us, and it hit New York. And it wasn't very, I guess they really got slammed. Okay, there we go. Now we can see what color my eyes are and everything else. I like that. So, I have a busy weekend ahead of me. I hope you do as well. I have so much that I have got to get done. I need to make tomorrow like my organizing day. Because when we get busy, or at least when I get busy, I got stuff everywhere. I have a boss that's very much like me. Our organization at work is organized piles. We know what's in our piles. I've always worked that way. But it's working in somebody else's business, not mine. So I need to organize. I need to get some stuff done. And I know I am super early today, guys. But it's Saturday, and I have a meeting to give. And I've got to pump them up. Get them excited. They have a contest ahead. Okay, so kind of look raccoonish. I use a particular brush that I think does really well under the eyes. And of course, I got to get that red spot on my nose. And then I go back and I blend it in a little bit with just a little softer brush. That's more of a, can't think of the word. Didn't you hate when that happens? I do. I hate when I go into the store and forget what I'm there to get. That's what lists are for. But then sometimes I make a list and then I forget it at home. But I'm a big list person. So I already did my mascara. I have a great 2-in-1. It's gel and fiber in one. It's great. I'm always doing that. I used a little bit of this, the 10 years younger. I used that under my eyes and around my eyes. This is the base primer, and I'm going to use that kind of over top of that. So I wanted to just fill in the character lines, because we have character lines, remember. And we're characters. So I have a little bit of base on there. I don't know, some days you get up, you feel like you're disorganized. Me today. Although, I laid out everything I'm going to wear today, and, then I got to go downstairs, get my shoes. I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning for some reason. It's like, are you kidding me? But I'm feeling much, much, much better. Probably sound a little better too. So remember to take care of yourself. I remember working very, very hard and really, really pushing myself, knowing I was sick. And I just kept pushing. And I kept having really difficult times. I'd go to sleep. I'd go to sleep on a weekend. My husband would try and call me repeatedly during the day and let the phone ring and ring and ring. And I never heard it. And I pushed myself really hard to the place that everyone around me knew something was wrong with me. And some people decided that they would just say, well, I know what it is. Well, it wasn't what they thought, which I knew deep in my heart. Funny we should say that, heart. I was at work one day and my son worked with the company. And he came in and he took a look at me and he goes, Mom, I need to take you to the hospital. Excuse me. And I was like, no, I'm fine. He goes, no, you don't look good, Mom. Something's really wrong. And I didn't feel great. I had some pains in my belly, and a lot of it was belly related and shoulder pain, weird shoulder pain. So I let him take me over to the hospital, and the ER was absolutely packed. And I was there for 8 hours. So I go in, tell them what my symptoms are. I'm having belly pain. I don't know what it is. I feel really nasty. So they do a whole series of tests, tested out my abdomen. Funny thing is they never, ever, ever, never listened to my heart. Ankles were swollen, feet were swollen, and they just kept swelling. It was terrible. So they're like, well, clearly there's an issue, and we can either keep you and admit you and figure out what it is, or as long as you agree to go to your primary care physician, we'll let you go home. I'm there for 8 hours, and I'm like, you know what? I want to go home. I don't want to stay here anymore. This has been a horrible experience. You told me that, yeah, there's probably something wrong, but we don't know what it is because you were having pains in the abdomen. I'm like, okay, fine. So, and I'm really hard-headed. People that know me know that I can be very, very hard-headed. And so I continued to push myself at work, feeling really bad. And then I finally, a couple days later, I was like, okay, I'm going to call, get an appointment with my primary care physician. Go in, check it out, find out what's going on. Why am I so uncomfortable? Why are my feet swollen? Why are my ankles swollen? What in the heck is going on? So I scheduled the appointment. It was first time with a new insurance carrier. And that was a little intimidating because you're walking into doctors you don't know. People you don't know. But I moseyed on in, and I have to say that they truly saved my life. I went in and saw what was supposed to be my primary care doctor, but she wasn't in that day, so I got a temporary floater. We had Kaiser, and I can say Kaiser saved my life. But I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I was pushing not for me. I was pushing for somebody else. So don't fall into that trap ever again. I know I never will. Ever, ever. So I go in. I explain to her what's going on. The very first thing she listens to is my heart. She looks at my feet, listens to my heart. And she says, did anybody ever tell you you have a heart murmur? And I'm like, no, not anything noticeable. And I thought about it for a second. And I said, well, the last couple times I went to my doctor, he said he thought he heard a murmur. And she goes, okay. She said, well, I'm going to tell you what you do have. You have a whopping heart murmur. Okay. I had no idea what that meant. What does that mean? So she said, I want you to go next door. I want you to get a chest x-ray. I want you to stay there, and I want you to bring back the films with you. And it was right next door, so I was okay with that. So I get over there, I get my chest x-ray done. And keep in mind, I had been to the doctor under my old insurance several times because I didn't feel good, I was really tired, and I was falling asleep while I was driving. Now that's scary. And you know what? What's even scarier is when you tell your boss that's going on, and he doesn't think anything about it. So I was like, okay. So my previous doctor, who figured I must have been narcoleptic, no tests, nothing, puts me on Ritalin. I get to Kaiser, to this doctor. Her name was Dr. Darling. I'll never forget Dr. Darling as long as I live. So I get the chest x-rays. I go back into her office with the chest x-rays. And she says, okay. She says, you're going to be here for a while. Because this is what's happening. You have a whopping heart murmur. You have fluid in your lungs. Which leads me to believe that there's some issue going on there, that your heart's not working properly. That murmur's a huge concern. I'm making the appointments for a cardiologist before you leave here. And I need to talk to that cardiologist and get you on the right meds. Okay. Now, when you're hard-headed, somebody says there's something wrong with your heart. Okay. It wasn't anything I really took seriously. So here I am sitting there. I was there most of the day. It was just an incredibly long day, but extremely informative. So she scheduled the appointment for my cardiologist with my whopping heart murmur. All the while, I'm still pushing myself through work. Excuse me, I'm getting over this stuff, and it's ending just like the way it started. Longest doctor visit I ever had. So, I'm still working. Within a couple days, I'm at the cardiologist. And I said, can we control this with some kind of medication? And she's like, no, not really. She said, I wanted to take a look at your heart. And she said, I'm going to schedule an echo for you to see if we can find out what's going on. She said, but my cardiologist is out to lunch. So let's just go back there and just take a real quick look. She said, I want to see what we're dealing with here. So she went back. And we did a preliminary, so she could just see what was going on in there. And she went, okay. She said, I'm going to send you for a full echo. And let's see what's going on in there. For sure. She said, I'm pretty sure that I know what's going on. Because I see a leaky valve in there. I'm like, okay. You don't think these things are huge. I don't know why, but you just don't think they're huge. And I'm thinking, okay. So I go to sorry about that. And I had to go to places that were Kaiser doctors. And I had to travel a lot, which was a real pain, but I did it. And I went over and I had the echo done. And she called me the following day and she goes, kind of strange because your echo came back as normal function, minimal leakage. And she said, that's not what I saw. So then I had to go and have an internal echo. So I was like, okay. Because, the normal function, minimal leakage, that sounded pretty good to me. I was like, okay, cool. We can control this with medication. Because, geez, we can control everything with medication, right? No, that's wrong. So we scheduled that, and all this happened very quickly. This is all within like a week and a half to 2 week period. I get over to Holy Cross Hospital for my internal, and the doctor that's doing it is standing there, and he goes, and you know why we're doing this today? And I'm like, absolutely. And he goes, we need to determine if you're going to need a mitral valve repair or a mitral valve replacement. And at that moment, it set in that the only way to get to the heart is one way. And I'm going to have open heart surgery. Okay, this was not something great to learn before this procedure. And of course, you know, for the patient, it goes very quickly. So he does it, sends me off. Cardiologist calls me up. Says, this is where we're sending you. This is who we're referring you to down at Washington Hospital Center. You need to contact him immediately and schedule surgery. So it's still kind of setting in, kind of. And I'm realizing, oh, you know what? I have a heart issue, which is why it felt like an electrical shock running between my shoulder blades. My feet got swollen, but I had pain in the belly. So I get everything scheduled, get it done pronto, go down, see the surgeon, who I really liked, who did an awesome job. And we get it scheduled, because he's like, I want to do this as quickly as possible, because that's pretty major leak you have going on there. And the heart was filling my my lungs up with blood. It was pumping backwards, basically, because the valve wasn't working to bring it up, push it out. It was going back into my lungs. One, explain why I was so tired. Two, I was going into congestive heart failure while I was driving down the road, and would just kind of, you know, come to and go, gee, how did I get here? And then how did I get here safely? So that was a godsend right there. I had an angel definitely on my shoulder, riding with me. And then I started doing research. And I'm like, gee, and when I talked to the surgeon, I'm like, there's only one way in there, isn't there? And he's like, well, actually, no, there's two. And he goes, I could go through the front or I could go through the rib cage, whichever you prefer. And I was like, no. It's what you prefer. You're the surgeon. You know what's best. It's what you prefer. And he goes, well, I do prefer the front. He did a beautiful, beautiful job. Like, scar, you can hardly even see it. It's a great zipper. And he did it right in the cleavage there. So in most cases, nobody will notice it. And at the top, it's just absolutely gorgeous, as far as scars go and incisions go. So I decided I was going to research it before heart surgery. Now I know they got to go in, and I know the whole thing. They've got to break the breastbone to get to the heart. And I was like, okay. Then I started getting on the internet, and I started doing research. And then I picked up the phone one day. I called my dad, and I go, do you know they have to put me on a heart and lung machine? And he's like, yeah, stay off the internet. And I did. It was because it scared the bejeebers out of me. I was like, you kidding me? Okay. So, and I'm trying to envision all this in my mind. So I just put it out of my mind, because I couldn't control that part at all. So I kind of just put it out of mind and went in, got it done. The good thing is for the patient doesn't know how long they've been in surgery. They just know suddenly, you know, I was, you know, saying to my husband, I'll see you soon. And that was about the last words that I remember before I woke up. And my surgeon also told me that I was going to feel fabulous after surgery. And I just kind of looked at him like, oh, yeah, right? You're going to crack me open like an egg. And then I'm going to wake up and I'm going to feel great? I don't think so. But he was absolutely correct. When the heart's not working properly, it can do some crazy things. Really crazy things. I woke up from surgery, had the beautiful zipper, I call it my zipper, and he was absolutely correct. I felt so much better, even though I'd just been through surgery, but it just felt great. It felt great. I could breathe right. I was having the proper oxygen flow all through my body. Now, I pushed myself really hard through that, getting up to that point where I had to have heart surgery. So I swore I'd never do that again. And I guess I had a pretty tough time getting through my recovery. Sorry, I'm grabbing my earrings here. And it was frightening for me, very frightening. If I didn't feel good, I wasn't going to push myself. Very scary. I came home from the hospital. I was in there for a week. And I came home for a week, had a major sugar crash, went into a diabetic coma for 3 days. They thought they were going to lose me. And I often asked why God threw me back, and I know why He threw me back. Because everything that I needed to do on this earth was far from being done. And it's led me to this point here. Sugar crash, diabetic coma, 3 days, finally get home, and then a major depression sets in. Everything that I've been through. And I felt alone. And the only phone calls I got from work would be to, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Except for one person who called me just to see how I was. Thank you, Dawn. I will never, ever forget your kindness. Thanks, Tony. I went through a lot. It was really scary. Geez, I could have crashed my car when I went into congestive heart failure. And for those that don't know what that is, it's not a heart attack. Your lungs fill with fluid, and they push against the heart, and that stops the heart. And that's what was happening to me. So I have been through so much since then, and have made so many changes in my life. Because of my fear that I was going to go through something like that again. Every time I didn't feel good, I called into work. I didn't want to go to work. My boss made it kind of hard on me, in my eyes, because he started taking my job apart. And then he finally let me go. Because I guess I was broken, and he didn't think that I would be valuable to the company anymore. So, excuse me, that created an even greater depression. And I had a tough time. I really had a tough time for a couple years. I have some great, great friends out there that knew that I was going through really tough times, would check on me just to make sure I was okay. Turning point was for me, was when I finally decided that maybe I should try network marketing. And what I found was a group of women, like I have with Limelight, that are supportive, loving, and caring. And I started finding myself again. And because I lost myself, totally lost myself. And I was able to bring out the best in me, which I had hidden inside for a long time. The depression was tough to get through. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you're depressed. Absolutely. Get to your doctor, ask for help. Because it makes a world of difference. Been on both sides. I've been down so low where Oh, wow. Oh, wonderful. There's no after effects, Tony. You know, I'm telling you, God was watching over me, and He made sure that I stayed with everyone here on Earth for a reason, and I can share my stories, I can share my experiences, I can share my products, I can share how wonderful I feel. Something as simple as our face mask, which has the lemon and jojoba beads. Just that fragrance lifts my spirit. I have opened my mind to so much. It's amazing. So after my depression, and I finally did go to the doctor, and really it's only been within like the last year and a half, because I was at a point where I was like, I don't need to live. Absolutely, Sharon could help someone else, and I want to make sure that I can help someone else. Not only does that make me feel better, but saving someone. I've even taken, we've had some issues in my family with some drug problems, opiates, heroin, and I even went to a class to learn how to administer Narcan. So if I ever encounter that, I carry it with me all the time. I know I can save a life, and I can make a difference. I know I can make a difference, and I know I am making a difference. So when I went to the doctor, I broke down in tears, and I never, never, never expected that, ever. I think that I'm a very strong woman, and I can get through anything, which I can. But when I went to my doctor and she started asking me questions and things started coming out about what was going on, what was in my mind, the heart surgery and losing my job was behind me. I can't control that. I can't change it. Over, done with, move forward, move forward. But some of the family problems going on with the drug abuse was just really getting to me really bad, along with very little self-confidence at the time. And I'm like, she goes, do you feel like you're depressed? And I guess, yeah, somewhat, but I hide it really well. And she's like, no, you don't. You do not hide it well. People that know you know something's wrong and something's not right with you. And at that very moment, I totally lost it. I never thought I would cry in the doctor's office, but she hit it right on. I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? She is so right. So she got me in touch with the right people, gave me some meds that have helped me tremendously, and brought back me. Did the medicine bring back me? No. I brought back me because it's all within me to bring it back. So I've been through a lot, and I can recognize a lot of things, and I want to share my experiences. I want to share the love that I have for people, my compassion for life, and just I just want to keep moving strong. You know, Tony, I lost my mom through all of that, and with all that going on. I lost her 2.5 years ago, and that didn't add to it either. But my mother is always with me. I do believe in guardian angels. I do believe in people or spirits coming back to you, like in your time of need. I believe in that because I felt that. And I always know when my mother's by my side. And it's a great feeling. So I've got to wind up. I've got a sales meeting to do this morning. Thanks, Linda. Got a sales meeting to do this morning. Got to rock the dealership. Move some cars out of there. Get home. Got tons to do. I'm a busy lady, and I love it, and I am loving life. Always, always remember to be kind to people. My mom passed on May 31st, 2000. It'll be 3 years in May, so that would be 2014. This was very tough time. but it's behind us now. My mother's in my heart. Great memories. Be kind to one another. Stay positive. Positivity attracts positivity. And always, always believe something wonderful is about to happen. Because it is. Take care. Have a great Saturday.